You just heard from from Leader Schumer, I should say. I want to hear now from Larry Sabato, who's the director of this at the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia. Larry, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Certainly, Polo. Thank you.
So, Larry, I'm wondering what you make of the argument from. So you heard again from Chuck Schumer just now. What do you make of the argument, though, from some of the Democratic supporters of this procedural vote, of this measure, that they see it not as caving in, but instead as bringing the health care issue to the forefront, especially in what's soon to be a midterm year?
Well, it had already been brought to the forefront. You know, I've got to tell you, the reaction on social media, and take a look, don't take it from me, is as negative as it can possibly be from activist Democrats. They are furious, and they use the phrase cave in over and over and over again. So the 8 Democrats who have enabled the Republicans to do this, and basically they've given in to what the Republicans offered all the way along, they would differ with anybody in that group of 8 who thinks that they got a great deal. Remember, there's no guarantee at all that this vote on Obamacare that will be taken sometime in the coming weeks will pass even the Senate. And it may not even be taken up by the House, much less passed by the House. And if somehow it passed by the House, President Trump probably would veto it, or at least would cause problems for it. So I'm not sure what they got, and I think most Democrats agree with that. They can't figure out what they got. These agreements with the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, may be sincere on Senator Thune's part, may be sincere, but it's difficult to believe that Trump or the minions around him, who have no hesitation about ignoring the law, will really obey them or will take them seriously. So it's a real letdown for Democrats after their landslide victory on Tuesday.
And Larry, I'm wondering, especially when you consider that landslide on Tuesday, when you're talking about the party in general, and from your perspective, how do you see this really going over, not only for Democratic voters, which is, as you said, you've seen plenty of fallout on social media, but do you think that this perhaps deepens those divisions within the Democratic Party?
It certainly does. You know, they disappeared on Tuesday because Democrats were celebrating their victories all over the country, big victories, way beyond what the polls had predicted, and not just in the few states that are talked about all the time. And now some of that, frankly, has been sacrificed on the altar of, well, caving in. I agree with that description. This is a cave-in.
And in all fairness, we also have to talk about perhaps what some of the furloughed federal employees are feeling, and especially those who had been without their SNAP benefits. I mean, is there perhaps a silver lining for millions of people who at least will get their back pay, and especially those who had no idea how they were going to fill their pantry?
Oh, absolutely. I don't mean to ignore that. It will be an end to the suffering by those who have been working hard without pay, like the air traffic controllers and the TSA officers and the military, and of course they've been paid partially, and a lot of others who are under stress, wondering if the pay will stop at any given moment. That's absolutely true. The air travelers will certainly feel better about this. Now I assume they'll be able to get to see their friends and families at Thanksgiving, though it will take a while to recover, for the air system to recover from what's been going on. So sure, there are pluses to this, but there are pluses that were offered weeks ago. What's new about this offer that was agreed to by the two parties in the Senate, or by 8 Democrats and all the Republicans except for one?
And then there's also the question, though, for constituents who are left with questions, though, which is really, let's flip that coin. Those constituents who are now left wondering, what about their health care? I mean, they're putting it in their hands of lawmakers. They're guaranteed a vote, but as we've discussed already at length, there are no guarantees of any sort of passage.
Sure. And of course, if nothing is done to enable millions, literally millions of Americans to afford Obamacare, afford health care, and the premiums are skyrocketing all over the country, then that's where Republicans may and should pay a price, because they're the ones responsible, controlling the White House, the Senate, and the House for what is passed on health care. Now, maybe those 8 Democrats can manage to leverage what they've done into some agreement on Obamacare, though we all know President Trump does not have a positive feeling about Obamacare and never has.
This measure is supposed to fund the government at least until January. Given that friction that will remain, not just across party lines, but also within the Democratic Party itself, I mean, do you see perhaps another funding fight on the horizon, Larry?
Absolutely. In fact, Senator Shaheen, to her credit, when asked that question at the end of the press conference they had this evening, suggested that, yes, there might be another fight then. Every vote is different. Every circumstance is different. So it's possible that it will be taken up again then. But given the fact that the Democrats caved this time, it's difficult for the Republicans to take that seriously.
Larry Sabato, always grateful for your time and your valuable perspective. Thank you so much. Have a good week, Larry.
Thank you, Paul.